Well, hey, sweet friends, this is Marla, and I am so happy that you are with me today watching this video about my trip to the Smoky Mountains. There's a few places in this world that are my favorite, and the Smoky Mountains will forever be one of my favorite places on earth. We went often to the Smoky Mountains when I was a child, and I still feel like it's like coming home. I just know I must have ancestors who lived in these hills, in these mountains, because it just draws me in every time. There's a soul connection here, and I'm not sure why. Now, Margaret rode with us. We all went down the same day, but Margaret was with us, and she was a delight. There's my forever boyfriend. We're coming up on 35 years this week. Hey, look at our little Isaac. He is the most pleasant child and did so well on all the places that we just wagged him around. He got to be in little carriers and all kinds of things. But I tell you what, look how excited Margaret is to be on the train at the Smoky Mountains. Oh, at Dollywood, I mean. And there's Claire and Margaret up on shoulders of her people, and there's Dean, my beautiful little Dean. You know, I don't get as many pictures of the boys because they're just too fast. they're not much into it. But there's Ridge, and as usual, he's too busy looking at things to look at a camera. And we did also visit the Ripley's Aquarium and enjoyed it immensely. It was just wonderful. We loved it. Oh, and look at Claire asking her Miggy about something that we're looking at. It might have been a lizard or something. This is a view from the balcony of the cabin we stayed in. We really had a nice time. And look at these little dolls. That's Dean, Margaret, and Claire in the back of Popeye's truck. Now, little Aaron Gage thought it was absolutely hysterical to watch the air hockey game. And there's our little 3-month-old Isaac looking at the penguins. Isn't he sweet? But of course, you know, I had to thrift. And my favorite thrift store in the Smokies is the Knoxville Area Rescue Mission in Sevierville. And my guys, this was on the way home, and they were so gracious and patient with me. They actually went inside. I don't really think they shopped. Ben shopped just a little bit, and Joel walked around. But Sam immediately just found a couch to sit on and read a book, or, you know, read from his phone. Here's a really sweet grouping of kitchen items. I'm seeing glassware and dishes and mason jars and a rolling pin. But the rolling pin was priced too high to be a modern rolling pin. Can you see that plastic gasket between the handle and the body? That's how you know it's not an antique or vintage one, because the plastic gasket is something you're going to see in a modern one. Okay, $3.99 for that little handcrafted pottery bowl. That was really sweet. I was interested in the wooden chest, but I do have several wooden chests, and that one was priced a little higher than was a good bargain. And that was very cute. I guess it's a spoon rest that you would have near your stove while you're cooking. Grant me patience, Lord, but please hurry. I try not to bring home just everything that I find, because it would just get to be too much. And, you know, you can't use just everything, but then I have this regret when I watch the footage. I'm like, well, maybe I could have found a spot for that. Maybe I wish I had that. But you know what? Let me say that if I'm not bringing it home with me, that just leaves it there for another thrifter to come along and be absolutely ecstatic over it. So that comforts me a little. I always carefully look for any vintage items tucked in between the modern decor that I don't care for. And this plate was exceptionally pretty. $6.99 is not a bad price for it, but I do already have a lot of vintage floral plates, and I decided to let someone else discover that one for their collection. They had some really attractive groupings by color, I see. And then something, the lunchbox down there, it's totally doesn't even go with the grouping. That's funny. That vase was pretty, and I was going to go around just to see the vase, but then I was like, oh, look at the carved rocker. Isn't that gorgeous? And it has Bambi and Bambi's mother, needlepoint, on the cushion. Look the way they price things, $69.99, but the longer it stays, the lower the price. So I like that system. I think that's a good thing. I like that this is a platform rocker, that you can have the rocking motion without the rockers pressing against the floor and being in danger of maybe pinching a little one's toe or a cat's tail. And there's Sam over there, already absorbed in his book. Well, on his phone, a book on his phone. They didn't have, I thought that was interesting, an architectural drawing, but the house was kind of modern, and so that didn't appeal to me very much. I don't know why I didn't buy that. $4.99, look how pretty. I'm just calmly looking around, putting it back. Buyer's remorse. Oh, no, what's the term? Shopper's remorse. I'm sorry you hear my ice maker dropping ice cubes over there. Look how pretty this old, and it didn't have a price on it whatsoever, unless it was on the very bottom. But I was in a really relaxed mood, and I just wasn't feeling. Oh, I see the price in the lower left-hand corner. Well, I'll never know. I didn't bring it home. Isn't that cute? Little vanity situation that you would have on top of a dresser with its own little drawer. I like these little mirror drawer units, and I like that the mirror will pivot so that you could have it at different angles for different needs or reasons. I thought that was sweet, but once again, nothing at all, nothing whatsoever in my buggy. And y'all, I call it a buggy because I am from Greasy Cove, and that's just what I call it. I know it's a cart everywhere else in the world. There are some cute little pictures that I think could have been paint by number, but probably were just some kind of, individual personal artist's art. And what a precious little baby basket for $36.99. And I would have enjoyed having that. But here's my thinking. We're coming home from 5 days straight in the Smoky Mountains, and the bed of my truck that has the lid cover on it is already slap full. I mean, it is so full, and I'm knowing that anything I'm looking at and potentially considering to take home is going to have to squeeze into an already full truck bed. Now, I don't know why my husband was looking at the manual of an old sewing machine, but he was, because engineering minds want to know. He's an engineer. He's a rocket scientist. I'm not even kidding, y'all. He's really smart. But don't tell him I said that. We don't want him to get too cocky about it, Haha. I brag on him all the time. He knows I think he's smart. Well, anyway, I didn't need another sewing machine. I have a vintage sewing machine from the Amish country in Ardmore, Tennessee. Now, I thought that little mirror looked like something from Hobby Lobby or Kirkland's, and it would have been a really good camouflage candidate for a thrift flip. I'm getting distracted by my dog. Look at these strange rabbit paintings, and I had to touch it to see if it was real, and of course you could feel the paint strokes on it, and if there's signs in places that say do not touch, it's because of people like me who have to reach out and touch something. Now, isn't that gorgeous? I would have brought that home had it been $10 or less, but alas, don't recall exactly what the price was, but it was something like $49, and there's just no way. I mean, since I have other pretty lithographs from the 1950s, which is exactly what I think that is, I just couldn't bring myself to pay that much for another one. So here I go, just checking out all the things, but they really hardly had any vintage framed art, and that's what I'm always looking for. I mean, you know, there might be something else unique that catches my eye, but I'm loving the idea of vintage, and there just were not too many vintage looking things. I had some nice things. And you know, I'm convinced that anyone can furnish their home tastefully and beautifully from a thrift store if they will be patient and very tasteful in their selections. Now here I say this, tasteful, when my house is layered up and stacked up like a refugee camp. Still, we're in a refugee camp situation. Y'all, we have traveled so much this summer, and lots of other things have gone on that at some point I'll probably tell you all about. But I just have not been able to do the kinds of things that I've normally been doing in the 2 years. Sometime in the month of August, I think, is my 2-year mark for having had my channel on YouTube. Looking for vintage books, nothing, no vintage books, nothing. And I'm about to think to myself, well, you know, maybe this thrift store is just not going to have any kind of vintage treasure. Maybe I'm just not going to see anything that's a really special thing. Look at my buggy, empty. There's nothing in it. Well, that fella has a basketball, you know. Other people are finding good stuff, but just wait. Okay, I always check the linens area because you just never know when there's going to be some kind of crocheted tablecloth. There wasn't, but I'm saying that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Linens that are old and beautiful, maybe embroidered. I love a crocheted tablecloth. I love quilts. I thought that was an attractive quilt to actually use, you know, not have to worry about hurting it. But I didn't pursue that. I looked at it and I was like, why would I buy that when I have lots of other quilts? But you know, when I see an antique quilt, I'm gonna get it. So when I saw this, I rather fainted. And I saw the price, that it was already marked down to $69. The original price and the first markdown had already come and gone, and it was down to $69.99. And I was like, look at it. Look at its lovely engraved, carved, beautiful details. Look. And look at the drawer. And look at the fact that it would fit in my foyer because it's not very deep from front to back. And I was just really impressed. Okay, now it has, one of its hinges is completely detached. So that door on the right is just swinging freely. And I thought, okay, that can be fixed. No big deal. It's okay. Yeah, I do believe it's solid oak. And it does have a little, a gopher bite. I don't know. It's got a chunk missing there. I don't know what caused it. It's part of its story. And look at these odd little spindles that come up out. There's 2 on the left and 2 on the right. Have no idea what that's about. Really, really don't know. So I just thought, you know, this is not the kind of thing I need to be bringing home. I mean, how am I going to fit that in our vehicle? And so I thought, you know, Marla, just carry on. Just keep walking, keep shopping. Just keep walking, just keep shopping. But you know, it was imprinted in my brain to the point where I was hardly able to focus on shopping the rest of the time. I mean, I did find a few things, but I was hardly able to concentrate on anything because I kept thinking, that thing, and I don't even know what to call it. It's too small to be a sideboard. I'm just calling it a little foyer cabinet because that's where I'm putting it. I currently have a really pretty thing in my foyer, but the pretty thing that's in my foyer was only like $20, and it's not even an antique. It's cute, but it's not even an antique. So, you know, here I am babbling on and on about it, and it is the first image you see when you pull up this video. So I think you're already guessing that it went home with me. But in the meantime, I am continuing to look through this store, and I'm still thinking about that beautiful cabinet. See, that says $29. And to myself, I was thinking, $29 for that little bitty thing when the That beautiful, gorgeous 100-year-old thing over there is only $69. That turquoise thing, I saw a man walking around with it as I was leaving. He was buying it. Really bright. Look at that. Major bright colors in that. It did look like it was an original canvas on canvas painting. And I thought that was too pricey for what it is. I don't think it, I think it was a print. And it, you know, it felt just like a print, maybe a print on canvas, not even especially like canvas. So I'm not too interested in backpacks or hair appliances or walkers or crutches or anything like that, or lamps. However, I do reserve the right to purchase a gorgeous lamp or a unique lamp at any point at which I may discover one. Or a good lampshade. You know, I like a good basic lampshade. Oh, it would have been just a suicide mission to bring a lampshade home in that crowded truck. Some attractive kind of florals, not anything that I couldn't get at home. You know, I have really great thrift stores in my home county, and I consistently find good things. Always find good things in there's 3 cities in my county. I'm in Albertville. To the south is Boaz, to the north is Gunnersville, and it's all up and down Highway 431, and I'm always able to find really good things at my thrift stores. So, you know, when I thrift on vacation or when we travel, it's for the thrill of it. You know, it's not that I don't have an opportunity to thrift at home, because I do. Y'all know I do. But it's always exciting to me to check out a thrift store in a whole new town, whole new city, because you just never know. You just never know what you're going to see in any thrift store. Just any thrift store. I mean, you know, there's even good cookwares. There's some stainless steel in there. It's not even worn out Teflon or anything. You know, there's nothing worse than a worn out Teflon skillet. Just throw it away. There's nothing you can do with it. It's gone. They last a year no matter what. I don't care what you pay for one. It just lasts 1 year. Then it's over. Then you say goodbye. Okay, they did have really pretty things in the housewares up here. I didn't even bother to look at clothes. Didn't look at a single piece of clothing. But I always think it's very interesting to peruse the knick-knack aisles. And I don't know what this thing was, but it was extremely heavy. And for $4.99, a piece of very hard rubber with a nice wooden handle. If you know what that is, do tell a girl. Let me know in the comments. $4.99. I don't know what that was. But if it had been a metal blade, that I could have made it look rusty and put age and wear on the wood part, I probably would have gotten it. Because I'm just kind of fascinated with antique tools. Alright, this was a very cute napkin holder. I guess it's a napkin holder. What would you put in the top? Toothpicks? Oh, maybe toothpicks. I hadn't thought of that yet. Maybe. Napkin rings. Those were cute. There were 2 boxes of those. So you'd have had a set of 8. And over here, I spotted some really pretty things. I thought, you know, those little bowls in the back look like Pioneer Woman. I wonder if they are Pioneer Woman. And they are. And then it said 4 for whatever the price was. And I thought, okay, where are the other 2? Well, there they were. Well, I just thought they were adorable. And they're, you know, a good little size. And I really liked them. What were they? Were they $9.99? I can't see. The reason I don't know is because I ended up putting them back. And I'll tell you why later. They were absolutely worth whatever the price was there. And I thought they were adorable. But I made a deal with myself. Later in the video, you'll hear all about my deal with myself. I apologize to all the people in America that I have videoed your bottom half. I'm sorry if you ever happen to see and you say, hey, there goes my bottom half. I'm sorry. It's just too hard to edit out all these bottom halves. And you know, if you're in public, you might just get videoed. Okay, that was an actually good thing. Ella, don't. Absolutely. Don't make terrible noises in the background. Come sit by me and be relaxed. Just be relaxed. It's like midnight. You need to get your dog self over here right next to me and hush. Okay, I ended up putting that back too because of the deal I made with myself. But I loved it, and I thought it was especially pretty. Nice piece of marble to have, you know, you could have used it for charcuterie, cheese and meat and fruit and stuff displays, or you could have used it as a cutting board, I bet. Can you use marble for cutting boards? I mean, I was assuming you could. But I think that little bowls like that are precious, and I don't mind buying 100 bowls and none of them be able to nest and stack into each other. But my son Joel, that's the bane of his existence. The fact that my kitchen cabinets are full of items that do not nest or stack nicely into one another. You know, we have a big family and we have to take turns and all pitch in and take our turn in the kitchen because we can mess up some dishes. I'm telling you what, a lot of people, 6 adults in this house, and we can mess up some dishes. So when it's his turn to empty the dishwasher, he just moans and carries on and like, Mom, nothing fits in here. Can we just get rid of like 75% of this? I'm like, hush your mouth. When you get your own house, you can have 2 bowls and you can have a huge space for them. And I hope you do, but this is my house. Isn't that cute? I like little houses and little whimsical things like that, but not today. Not today. Just decided it wasn't the kind of thing. And I've got a lot of things that are good candidates for thrift flips already in my possession. And when I ever get moved into my beautiful shed, my Pinewood Keep, when I ever get out there, I am going to put out so many thrift flip videos, y'all won't know what to do. You just won't know what to do. You'll be just bombarded with them. But right now, I can just dream of it. And I can just occasionally put out some kind of thrifting video and talk and connect with you again because, you know, y'all are precious. Y'all make the best comments, and some of you message me privately, and you're all just precious, and I love you so much. Look at those beautiful blue dishes. Loved them. Didn't need them. They say Japan. That's a good thing. My sister, who's the dish collector, tells me that if it says Japan, it's a good thing. I would have liked those if they had said, you know, Timbuktu on the bottom, because those are pretty. But anyway, I do always check out the wood area because I'm looking for, I think I'm going to be using a lot of wood shelves out in my shed when we get to that point where we're ready to put shelves on the other walls. Not the Great Wall of Rubbermaid, not that shelving system, but like the rest of the shelves, the rest of the walls all over. And I couldn't see any reason why that should be the price that it was. It was way too high for what it was. I don't even know. And I did sort of see a little shelf down there, but I didn't pursue it. I tell you what's probably wrong is I probably am sitting here thinking to myself, how am I going to convince Ben to let me get this cabinet? I know we don't have room, and I know it's going to be hard to fit it in, but how can I convince him? I mean, my mind is just working in all the ways. So I am still just looking, you know, for the treasures that I can find. And I do find some treasures. I do find some small treasures. I think we're coming up on one. There it is. Isn't that nice and rusty? Why do I care if it's rusty? I don't know. Because I was raised by antique collectors. Dang it, Mom and Daddy, you did this to me. But I love them. I love rusty old implements and things. And I liked that one well enough that it actually made the cut. It got to come home with me. I really, really liked it. And I didn't have to trade it out. Now, Ben didn't tell me to trade anything out, but I did trade things out before I even approached him with the idea Look how cute those are. Those little tiny trays like that. I looked it up, and some of them are called, how do they say it? It's like when you're at a restaurant and they bring you your check, bring your bill to the table. Evidently, there was a time in this world and a place in this world where it was fancy enough that you had your restaurant bill brought to you in a fancy little tray like that. And I just think that we need to go back to that because that's adorable. That's cute. Why didn't I bring that home? I don't know. I had antique cabinet on the brain, but that's really cute. If I see another one like that, I'll probably get it. Look at that little pear. Why do I love pears? It's a bell. I actually did bring that one home with me. And at the end of this video, I don't do a separate thrift haul where I show you all the things, but I am going to tell you what I did take home with me. And that way you'll know what I bought and what I didn't. So there's not much suspense to it, I guess. All the spoilers have already been happening, but there, I just put that brass pear bell in my buggy, and it did come home. But I think I've got 2 or 3 boxes of random things where I've just done thrift trips over the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I have not done a haul yet, so I'm just going to do a combined haul of all those. I think if I can ever have a day where there is not an infant attached to me or a toddler, which I love my grandchildren, but I'm telling y'all, I've been like a full-time 100% Miggy over here. My children better take really good care of me. I told them, I said, listen, I don't ever want y'all to feel like you have to pay me for keeping your kids or anything, but don't you let me be hungry when I'm old. Bring me craft supplies and bring me food and make sure I'm happy somewhere. But y'all better take care of me when I'm old for this. Tell you what. This was a thrift store grouped by colors. All the green things all together. And I guess this is the beige and tan area. At first I got excited. I thought that thing back there was something that I was interested in, but it was actually more like a primitive African thing, which I have not a collection of anything like that. I thought it was like Art Deco or something, but it was not. And I do like little bowls, but I have several. Now this mug, the Stein back there, it was catching my eye. But first, I'm going to have a side distraction of some metal stars there. Really cute. It caught my eye, and it is McCoy. $7.99. It's probably worth it. At one point I thought I need to look that up and see what the actual value is on that, but I never did. I thought it was cute, but I was trying to be very selective about the things that I was actually bringing home, and so I just admired it and I appreciated it for what it is, and I tried to walk on, girl. Walk on. Solve your problem about how you're going to convince your husband to empty half the truck and pack it all back in to include that piece of furniture. Think about it. Think about it hard. And boy, I did. Ben is so good to me, y'all. I always think and I act like that he's just going to pitch the worst fit about stuff, and he rarely does. Every now and then now, I get on his nerves in many ways, I'm sure. But he rarely gets mad or aggravated to the point where he just refuses to do something that I really want to do. But, oh, that was a massive fork. Plaster fork. And a great big bowl that probably had a great big pitcher to go on a wash stand. Very pretty things. I'm telling you, you could just literally find any genre of decor, any category of decor. Wouldn't be hard to decorate at all. My next one moving out will be Sam. He's gonna get an apartment maybe this fall, maybe after Christmas. We're not sure exactly what the timeline is on that, but as he continues his pursuing his degree, he's getting more and more eager to have some space of his own and to be closer to the university where he'll be going. So I get it, and honestly, it'll be good for him and good for us too. You know, I'll cry about it and I'll miss him, but you know, that was primitive and cute. And this, I thought, was especially nice. Now, okay, it's just one of those things, and I don't know what you really call it. It looks mid-century to me. It did say Japan. Couldn't read the price tag, but it's like that stuff that's paper mache, but it's really hard. It's been shellacked and hardened and all that. And I liked it, and I put it in my buggy. But when Ben saw it, he said, "What is that thing, Marla?" And I said, "It's a vintage mid-century tray." He said, "But do you really like it?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I think it's unique." He said, "Do you not think it's super ugly?" I said, "Do you think it's super ugly?" Oh, here's Joel, and I was showing him this and asking him to look it up, but he wasn't willing. He just said, "You know, Mom, this is not going to fit in our cabinet with all our other mugs, so let's just pass it by." I said, "Well, I wouldn't get it to actually use. It would be a collectible." And he said, "Mom," like, you know, that's the worst. So I said, "Just forget it. Don't look it up. Don't be an assistance to me. Don't make my dreams come true. Just carry on. Don't know even why you're on the same aisle with me if you're going to be this way." I think he was actually hoping to dissuade me from purchasing things, because he did say the words. Oh, and I need to point this out. As we were pulling up to the thrift store, he said, "Now, Mom, you realize we don't have any room in the vehicle anywhere for you to buy a bunch of stuff. You realize this, Mom?" I said, "Joel Tanner, if I want to buy a whole entire piece of furniture in this place, I'll do it." And I was saying that just to aggravate him. Because one time he claims, and I don't think it's true, but he claims I made him ride home from somewhere in Georgia with a rocking chair on his lap. And maybe I did. I don't think I did, but maybe I did, because he claims I did. So anyway, yeah, this is the countdown toward the final minutes of deciding that I'm going to ask Ben to come back and look at the cabinet, because you know I want it, and I feel like he'll probably cooperate with me about the thing. I see cradles everywhere. I mean, I bet I have seen 8 cradles lately. And I already have the little spindle doll beds. I don't need doll cradles, but everywhere I go, I see vintage cradles, probably from the 60s and 70s. Checked out this little rocking chair, but it was still a little pricey, and it wasn't super the kind that I like. I think it had some painting on the back, but you only got to see a very close up of the dried silk flowers. Sorry about that. So as I'm looking at all this stuff, I'm thinking how to present my case to the husband. And I'm looking in all the little places to see if there might be anything vintage that I actually just can't live without, you know. But I brought Ben back there. I said, "Ben, honey, look at this cabinet. Just look at it. Just look how beautiful it is." He looked at it, and I'm not sure if that was my hand or his hand. I kind of got little boy hands. That's my hand. But I'm looking at the price again, and I'm trying to see how far down it's already been marked. I'm thinking about how much I love it, and I'm imagining how it's going to look in my foyer, because it's really the right shape. It's wide, but it's not very deep from front to back, you know, because my foyer's actually just like my front door just opens into the hall. It's not even a room. And I really don't know what hunked that. I might just touch it up with some antique wax so that it's dark and you can't see. I don't care that the chip is there really, but it's not something I really want there to be a lot of focus on. So, you know, I might repair it a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I'm kind of notorious for saying I'm going to fix something, and then I just don't have time to do it. I don't have time to fix it in the beginning, and then all the little imperfections just grow on me. Okay. So there's my husband. And he has helped put the thing on the dolly, and we did unload literally half of the stuff in the back of the truck, and then we packed it all back inside that cabinet, laying on its back, packed stuff inside the cabinet so that we could put that thing back in, and we rearranged, and it actually did work. And I have it, and I'm thinking I'm going to film myself taking down the old and putting up the new, because that would be a lot of fun. But right now, let me pray blessings over all of you, my friends, old friends, new friends. Maybe this is the first time that you have come across my videos, but I pray that the Lord would bless your life and draw you close to Him and show you things that you've not noticed before, and made Himself real to you, and that you have eyes to see and ears to hear all the precious and special and personal things that God wants to speak to your heart. And I pray these blessings over you in Jesus' name. Amen.